Well, hello, folks. This is Mike Hanson here, and we appreciate you watching my new YouTube channel, Hanson Archives. Be sure to subscribe there, hit the subscribe button, and I have a new YouTube channel that we're going to put all the Waco stuff on, Waco Archives. And don't forget our other channel, Mike Hanson Archives. And if you'd like to help out getting all these thousands of tapes uploaded to YouTube, I am offering a special. If you send $25 into this address the lady is going to put up on the screen, we'll send you a signed copy of my book, Bohemia Grove, Cult of Conspiracy. And it was forwarded by Tex Mars. It just recently passed away. So our address there is 901 St. Joseph Street in Gonzales, Texas. So, and if you want to call us for any reason, our number is 830-672-3089. Be sure to keep subscribing, and if you want to look us up on Facebook, it's Mike Hanson, Hanson, from Gonzales, Texas. Alrighty, stay tuned right here on these channels for all these classics. Alex Jones, Jeff Davis, and a bunch of other great Patriots. So we'll see you next time. Keep supporting us. We need the support. It's costing a lot of money. God bless you.
I love Mike Hanson Archives.
Hardware stores in Austin, and he's a man. And he just wheeled up, started talking to me, and told me a story. And he's got all the documents to prove it, folks. To protect his identity, we're not going to obviously show you that here. He's afraid. No criminal record. Good, decent, person. His wife worked. Does she still work in corrections?
She used to be a probation officer for 8.
Yeah, probation officer, in the system, done nothing wrong. Why don't you, well, first off, you're in a wheelchair. And can you tell us about your injuries?
I was hurt in a motocross accident when I was 17. I've been in a wheelchair for roughly 15 years. So.
What is the extent of your paralysis?
I'm had an injury to my low back. I'm partially paralyzed from the waist down. I can still walk with use of walker and braces.
So you can focus, with a walker and braces and do.
Yes, but I use a wheelchair to get around the majority of the time.
But it's hard. It's hard for you to, say right now without something to hold on to get up.
Yes, I couldn't do it without assistance.
Well, my grandmother had polio, and it's hard for her to walk, and it's not as extensive as the paralysis you have. What happened to you? Your first run-in with the law, with the boss?
Well, my wife and I were heading home. We live in South Austin. We were leaving a place called the Warehouse, where I play foosball with a few friends on Tuesday nights. This was a Saturday evening. We were heading home down I-35 south, and I was smoking a cigarette, and it kind of stuck to my fingers and burned me, and I put what I could out the window. I usually don't throw cigarettes out. Didn't think anything of it. When I went a couple of exits and went to exit, I noticed an undercover police car behind me, an unmarked white police car with its lights on, and I made the corner and immediately pulled into the gas station to see what the problem was. A police officer came up to the vehicle, asked me for my license, registration. He asked me what... I had some sticks that I was driving with that were laying in my seat. He asked me what those were. I told him that I was in a wheelchair.
The sticks that are attached to the steering wheel.
I was getting my hand controls installed that very next Monday. The truck was brand new. He asked me what the sticks were for. I told him that's what I drive with. I'm in a wheelchair. He didn't say anything about it.
So you said, I'm in a wheelchair?
Yes, I'm in a wheelchair. That's what I drive with. Didn't say anything about it. Asked for license, registration. Told me he was going to run my license, asked me if there was anything that he needed to know about. I said, no, sir. He said, what about you, Miss McCorkle?
So you said no, sir, to the authority, the person that's better than you because they're wearing a uniform,
Yes,
because
sir.
we work for them now. And that's New America, and we are slaves. Well, because they're the boss, because they work for the government. And I'm serious. Just know your place. Go ahead.
I, was always taught to respect the law. I'm for the police. I'm for the military. I do believe we have some good police officers out there doing a good job.
But we have thugs that attack people in wheelchairs. Continue.
Absolutely. He asked my wife if there's anything that he needed to know about her. He was going to run her license. Said, no, sir. Went to his vehicle, came back. He said, I'm going to write you a citation for littering. And I just kind of under my breath said, wonderful. He goes, really? And I didn't pursue it. And
You talk back to a God. You said wonderful to him?
I did.
You know how tough his job is? You know what he goes through? You're going to pay now. I'm sorry, go ahead. Finish the story.
You have to understand that the kid that mows our lawn had all of his lawn equipment stolen earlier that afternoon in front of somebody's house. $1,000 worth of equipment that he made his kind of living with out in broad daylight. Lots of crime taking place in our neighborhood in South Austin. And so I was a little upset about that. And
So you said wonderful to a king, and this is not allowed. So what happened next?
He wrote me the ticket, and as I went to sign it, I said, I don't mind signing this. I said, but I think my tax dollars could have been better spent by you actually going and chasing criminals instead of messing with me over a cigarette butt. He goes, oh, really? I said, yeah, really. And he goes, well, I can make things real difficult for you. I can write you up for 3 or 4 more citations if you want me to. And I realized at that point he was playing a power game. I just put my hands up. I said, fine, whatever. And he goes, all right. He reaches in, he grabs my keys out of my ignition. He steps back from the vehicle and starts screaming, get out. And I kind of put my hands up like I can't. And so he gets really upset, flings my door open and screams, get out at me again. And I was just kind of shaking my head like, he already knew I was in a wheelchair. So, for him to ask me to get out of the vehicle without my wheelchair was just kind of absurd to me. And so then he started pulling on my shirt, or he started pulling on my arm. And you have to understand that I just had back surgery a couple of months before that. And I had rods put in my back, very major surgery. I was still kind of laid up from that. And I wasn't about to go out on the cement. So I grabbed the steering wheel with my other hand. And he couldn't pull me out of the vehicle. He got furious. And you could see him visibly shaking. The other police officer...
A large individual?
Yes, he was
a lot of fat at the
man.
You told me about this. A lot of fat at the back of the neck, large, watery muscles.
Yes, I have a friend who's
large, watery muscles.
I had a friend who's a police officer that stated that he knew the gentleman personally and that he was on steroids, and by his behavior, it looked like some sort of roid rage. He could visibly get out of control.
Well, and I'm serious. It's the hunter instinct of the wolf trained by the New World Order, and he saw someone who was paralyzed and who had not submitted properly, and I'm serious. He went after this official, this authority figure, because he works for the government, which now runs our lives and sucks everything off of us, was going to tell you how it really worked.
He was upset with me because I smarted off to him. I told him I thought my tax dollars could have been better spent.
You don't do that. This is a king you're dealing with. Please continue.
Obviously a mistake. But the other police officer came up, grabbed the hand that I was holding onto the steering wheel with, and reached in and grabbed it. I didn't resist. I let him take it. Both of them had both of my arms, and they're trying to physically pull me out of the vehicle. And at this point,
with your legs stuck up underneath the steering wheel.
The only thing holding me in the vehicle was my knee was caught on the steering wheel. And at this point, I'm getting worried because they're hurting me. I've got rods in my back. I'm in pain at this point. And I see somebody filling up their truck at the gas pump about 20 feet away. And I said, hey, you see what they're doing? They're trying to pull me out of the vehicle. And I really couldn't see who it was, but they saw,
witnesses.
Yeah, and they kind of backed off. And at this point, they're screaming at my wife. My wife says he cannot get,
Your wife, who works in their system as a probation officer, but was still not protected by the devil dog.
they literally scared her to death. She said, he needs his wheelchair, quit pulling him out of the vehicle. And the police officer said, well, he can at least get out and lean up against the side, like I was lying to him about, being paralyzed. Well, he screamed at my wife at the top of his lungs, well, what does he need to get out? And my wife said, his wheelchair. So they finally, he screamed, get out and get it now and get it together now, at the top of his lungs at my wife. And my wife is a small lady. She's 97 pounds, soaking wet, never broken a law in her life. I mean, to the letter.
A good submitter.
Absolutely.
Very submissive, very submissive.
Well, and
to the globals.
Yes.
And I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to illustrate how we're all groveling worms to them now, myself included, how they are rightful rulers of us. And I just want them to know that. You're right. You're right. You're going to do a lot more stuff to us all. Don't worry, okay? 7.2 million in prison now. It's going to be a lot more of us. I'm sorry. I'm very angry about this happening, but I guess they're right. Go ahead and continue, please.
Well, if you mean submitting by obeying the law and paying our taxes and, not making a fuss, I guess you could call it that. But
I'm getting beat up on the side of the road, but please continue.
Yeah, what happened to protect and serve?
They protect and serve the globalists, but continuing, so she's screaming at her wife, get out, get it now.
So she gets my wheelchair together and rolls it around to the side. I get out, get in my wheelchair, and he starts searching through my vehicle. And at this point, I was furious, and I said some things to him that about lawsuits and pursuing lawsuits and coming after him in a legal
You're allowed to talk to this God. I mean, people a long time ago were allowed to talk to Mount Olympus, talk to people bow down. I think God probably this God. I still think people are allowed to talk to God. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what he did, but what happened next?
Started searching through my vehicle. I said, hey, you don't have any right to search through my vehicle. I haven't broken any laws. He said, I can do whatever I want. You just need to sit there and shut up. And the other officer was like, hey, buddy, just relax, just calm down. And so he continued searching through my truck, trying to find something to incriminate me, and couldn't. He then allowed me to get back in my vehicle, and so he wrote me another ticket saying that I crossed the median, that I was going to exit William Cannon, and decided not to at the last minute and cross the white line that divides the exit, which is complete and utter falsehood. And so I went down to the city municipal court. I paid the ticket for littering because I did do that. But on the other ticket, I was going to fight it. After that, I went down to an internal affairs and filed a report. My wife went down and filed a report as well. Turned out that the guy at the gas pump that I was yelling at to witness this assault on me happened to be the next door neighbor of a good friend of mine. And he had seen my truck at his house, and he came over and said to me, I saw everything that happened. He said, if you want me to back you up, I'll back you up the whole way. I said, I do. I need somebody to go down to internal affairs and fill out a sworn statement. Well, he and his girlfriend, who were both filling up their trucks at each gas pump, went down there and filled out sworn statements. We were interviewed by the police, we showed them the torn shirt. We gave them sworn affidavits. We get a letter back 3 weeks later in the mail saying that the police were completely within their rights, basically have a nice day.
Look, this is the joke of our society. They investigate themselves. It's like asking Al Capone let's call Al Capone to investigate Al Capone. So this is just bull. And look, if they'll attack a guy in a wheelchair who can't walk without a walker and leg braces in front of his wife, who's a probation officer, they'll do it to anybody. And they protect him. And I'm sure they joked in the locker room, hey, buddy, picked on anybody else? Been busting any more people than
Mike Hanson, how you doing?
Good, Mike. How are you, man?
I'm doing fine. Can I ask you a couple questions? Sure, go ahead. What do you know about the Mike Helms that you pulled over in the past? He said you roughed him up. Mike Helms in the wheelchair? What do you know about that, sir?
Trying to instigate something?
No, I'm not trying to. I've done my homework, sir.
Well, good for you. That case was investigated and that was cleared. So that's all I can tell you about that case. What other question?
What do you know about my brother, William Hanson, that you transferred? He reported a bad cop, and you transferred him to a walking beat downtown.
We have a grievance process. He could have filed a grievance if he chose to do that. Okay.
And you said on the Ritter show that the trailer park show that you were for paramilitary police department.
No, I said law enforcement is a paramilitary organization.
No, it's
Chain
not.
command,
Absolutely not.
rank
It's peace
structure. Okay.
Peace officers. So you're not educated.
Right on track.
You're saying
Check with anybody. They'll tell you.
a paramilitary.
Thanks.
We are
Good
peace
talking to you.
officers.
Good talking to you, Mr. Hanson. I'm not out here trying to create any dissension. Okay.
Well, you are creating dissension when you say
I'm minding my own business. and I
when
hope
you
you'll do the same.
say that the police department and you want to be our sheriff.
Yes, sir.
You want to be our sheriff, sir?
You wanted to be a constable, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, try again.
Because I want to be a peace officer.
try
I want to
again.
serve the people. I don't want to scare
The
them.
voters make that decision and they can shoot.
Well, we'll see.
Stay tuned right here for more classics on this channel here, Hanson Archives. But to fund this station, I'm offering, if you send us $25, we'll send you a signed copy of Bohemia Grove Cult of Conspiracy. It was forwarded by Tex Mars that just recently passed away. Also, Alex Jones has a chapter in here. And that's good. There's us in our younger days. But on the address that you see, send us $25 and we will send you a signed copy, or give us a call at 830-672-3089 and you can put it on a credit card. We'll send it right out. But that's what we need to help fund this channel, folks. So help us get all the classics uploaded to YouTube. We got hundreds and hundreds of old Alex Jones and Jeff Davis and a bunch of other patriots that we need to upload. About 25-year-old tapes.
I love Mike Hanson Archives.
Get ready to write.